Hi, this is Frida. Welcome to my channel. Today I am doing the tutorial part 2 to finish this lovely cardigan that I have knit using Abigail's yarn that she has sponsored, the gray that she has sponsored, 6 skein of it, and 2 of the variegated yellow yarn that I have bought from her. And I thought I had enough in my stash, but unfortunately I didn't have gray color to match the yarn. So she kindly sponsored for me to knit this lovely new design that I have created. I hope you like this tutorial. It's a plus size, but you can change it to small, medium, large, extra large using my my top-down knitting method that I have posted on my previous tutorial. And if you want more details, just message me or email me. And I have all the information. If you go to my About section, you can see my email address, and you can email it and I can give you that information. Or you can just write it on the comment below and I will provide that information. This is a V-neck that I have knit, but for a plus size. So this is how it looks like, and it's a shawl. And I finished it with a Picot edging, binding off Picot edging, and I have the tutorial. I will put all the links on how I did it, because these tutorials takes forever, so I did it separately. And you can just go into those links that I'm going to provide below. So let's get started, and I will show you the finish of part 2, how to finish this. And I hope you like this tutorial. Share it with your family and friends. I'm almost hitting 18,000 subscribers. So I'm planning to make a yarn giveaway when I hit 20,000. So keep on following and I will provide. I'm planning to give out either superwash merino wool or mohair wool, or I have so much wool. I have so much yarn. Just give me a tip what you would like, what would you be interested in. I know that there are a lot of patterns going out, knitting for one skin shawl, but I prefer doing cardigans or, you know, boleros short to cover my shoulder. I have problems with my shoulder because of too much knitting, so I always wear, I can't wear a shawl, it keeps on dropping on me, so I prefer a crop cardigan. Just show you what I'm wearing right now, just to give you an idea. And I just love it. So it just covers my shoulders. And yeah, so keep on watching, and so let's get going on with the part 2 tutorial. Hi, this is Frida. Welcome to my channel. Okay, this is tutorial 2, how to knit this lovely cardigan. Okay, I have knitted the sleeves. I just went ahead and knitted the sleeves. Remember, I said I was going to do it seamless, but unfortunately it took me forever. So I went back and I separated from underarm and went back and forth because it's hard. It's taking as long to knit a plus size cardigan. So I just went, and it went faster. So what I did is, remember I added 14 stitches, so I picked it up from here, and I decreased 1 stitch here and 1 stitch from the other, so total of 2 stitches every, like this. I skipped, so 10 rows total, 10 rows. And I started the pattern, is I will put the link how to knit this lovely pattern, a stitch. Doesn't this look nice? So what I did is I decreased 3 stitches, I'm sorry, 2 stitches on each side, so 2 here and 2 here. So I just got rid of these and every 10 rows I did. So I think I did total of three decreases here, and I did the Picot bind off method. I will put the link below. I did a small short tutorial on how to do the Picot bind off, which gave that nice texture to the end. It looks nice. And I finished the other sleeve. I repeated, same as here. Picked up stitches, and I didn't want to do seamless because it was taking forever to knit. So I went back and forth and back and forth, and I decreased every 10 rows. And I started to stitch, and I decreased 2 to 4. So 4 stitches here. So every 10 rows I did 2, and when I came here I did 4, 4, 4. Cause I don't know if I forget to mention, but I think I did. I changed my needle size. The further I knit, the bigger I became the needle size. So I believe this is a 6. So I started with a 4. And I went up with a 6. So I'm going to end up with a 6. And I'm going to start the pattern. This yarn. I only have this left of this yarn. So I'm going to start the pattern with you with the gray color. And then I'm going to join the variegated yarn. And I'm going to knit the border, the edges. Trying to make a shawl collar with this. And because I noticed this is pretty wide here, but anyways, I'm going to try my best. I wish it was like this. I totally forgot, but still there would be some more here. Usually when you're knitting a shawl collar, it should be like this, so it's up, you knit it easily. But this one, I wanted to have it closer. I don't like open, especially in the winter, even when it's chilly. I like my neck area to be closed. So that's why I made this wider. And hopefully it will turn out good. So we'll see. I'm working with you. So I don't know the end result yet. And this is how it looks like so far. And I noticed on my other cardigan, the brown one that I knitted, I used up all of the 8 skin of 8 balls of the yarn, but the length was longer because I put the stitch. I believe this uses up a lot more yarn than I have planned for. So if you want it longer, I would advise you to buy at least 3 more balls of this yarn, because this one ball of yarn doesn't knit up that much because it's a plus size, right? If it was a small size or a medium size, even a large size, it would be okay, but this is 2 extra, 3 extra large. And I haven't blocked it yet, so this is how it looks like, and I think it looks pretty good even when it's not blocked yet. But I don't know if you can see the difference, how I changed my needle size. The more I knit it, if you can see, it this way. So it's really hard to notice. Because I started with 4mm needles, and I changed every half of a millimeter, so I went from 4 to 4.5, 4.5 to 5, and then 5.5 to 6. So I'm knitting both sides with 6. Okay, and another thing, I did increases. Remember I said I increased one here. So when I wore it, I noticed I don't have to increase as many as I need because it was fitting me perfectly. So what I did is I increased another one after 10 rows. So I increased here. I continue to increase where I increased. So I increased another row, one from the underarm, one from the back, one from the front, and one from the underarm, and it's looks pretty good. So I'm not going to do any more increases, and I'm going to start this beautiful stitch. dandelion stitch. So let's get started. And I don't know how many stitches I have. I never count my stitches. I only do my measurements. So with this stitch, I found another way. I will put the tutorial on how to knit this lovely stitch. It's very easy. It's like a rib stitch. 2 knit, 1 purl, 2 knit, 1 purl, and you do the opposite on the front. But I found another way. I'll show you a trick instead of doing that yarn over thing. So grab your project, and so let's get started on starting the stitch. Okay. So this is, I start the stitch from the wrong side of the work. Okay, I don't count, I don't know how many stitches I have. So what I'm going to do is just gonna go 2 knit, and then I'm gonna go a purl, just like this. So 2 knit, 1 purl, 2 knit, 1 purl. So 2 knit yarn on the back, and 1 purl from yarn on the front. And I will meet you all the way to the end, and we will start the stitch. Well, actually this is the stitch, but the trick is from the front, that I figured another way to make this lovely stitch easier and faster. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I haven't counted anything by, this is good luck. So I did 1 purl, 2 knit, and I'm going to continue knitting the remaining, because I don't want to put another flower. Maybe I can. Why not? Maybe I can. Yeah, I'm just gonna double check what I started at the beginning, because I want it to be equal. So I did, yeah, I'm going to do another flower because I did 3 knits, 1 purl. So here, instead of doing 4, okay, I did 1 purl, 2 knit, and I'm going to do, this one would be the dandelion, and I'm just going to finish it just like this. Okay, so I'm going to change my yarn. This is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to change my yarn. By changing, I'm going to just tie my variegated yarn on this, and I will cut this yarn later, and I will weave it. So I'm just gonna give it a little, so just tie it like this. The cardigan is pretty heavy, it's pulling. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1 knot and 2. What I did is I usually felted the 2 yarns together, so I don't like knots. Gives a hole later when you're knitting. That knot becomes a hole. I don't like it. But this is going to be the edge, so it will be weaved, because I'm going to do the border later, right? Okay, so we're going to start this pattern, and I will put the link how I did this dandelion stitch. This is how it looks like. Okay, with a solid color. So I'm going to be knitting with this yarn, and I'm not going to knit the first stitch, I'm just going to move this. Okay. So these are going to be purl stitches. On the tutorial on how to knit the dandelion, I did a yarn over, but this one I figured out. Instead of knitting this, I go between and I knit, and I just leave it. So this stitch becomes bigger, as here, as you can see. So I thought this is way easier, and I just continue knitting. I'm going to be knitting a couple of rows like this, and when I come back, well, when I go back and forth, I'm going to start the stitch. I'm going to make one dandelion and skip one dandelion and skip one. So I will put the tutorial and you will continue watching. But this one, I just wanted to show you a trick that I figured out while I was knitting the sleeves. Instead of going yarn over or slipping the stitch, I just knit it regularly on the back. And when I come to the front, this is what I'm doing. And this is way easy and it goes faster. See? It's the same thing. And this stitch becomes bigger. The petal of the dandelion. Okay, just like this. So continue knitting. There's nothing to be done on this. I'm going to finish my entire ball. And I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how many dandelions I'm going to be knitting with this one ball. But for the half ball, on the sleeves, I knitted a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I thought it was 6, but I think it's more than 6. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 6 total of 6 dandelions. For the sleeves, I used half ball. Of course, this is less stitches on the sleeves, but on the body of the, and I'm going to. Yeah, and when we do the Picot, it uses up more yarn than I plan to. So I don't know if I hope I will have enough yarn to make the Picot, or I'll just use the gray yarn, because there's gray in here, right? Yeah. Okay, so just use your judgment. I ordered, well, Abigail, she sponsored the 6 balls of the gray, and I okay, so I have went ahead and I have knit. I finished the sleeves. And remember I was saying I did increases. I ended up doing 2 increases. So 2 rows, 2 times increases. And this is how it became. If you are a plus size, this is how you increase to have your waist cover. But for me, it ended up being too big. So I'm going to put this, I already put it on my Etsy shop, so it's for sale for $250 American. The yarn plus my knitting, and that's all. And plus shipping you have to pay if you are interested. Yeah, it ended up too big for me. And next time if I knit for myself, I wouldn't do the increase. Yeah, I wouldn't do the increase at all. And remember I said I changed the needle sizes. So from here I started from 4 from the top, and the bigger I became, I increased it half stitch, half needle size. So I went from 4 to 450, 4.5. And how I increased it from the front, and then I knitting two more of this. I increased it from the back. So I kept on increasing up to, I ended up to 6 here. So I did two boxes of this knitting, and I did the dandelion stitch here. And I will put the links below, so just click on the links and you will see how I knit the pattern. And it's very easy and simple, and it looks lovely with this variegated yarn. I just wanted to give that look with how dandelions grow on the edge, and I did that on the sleeves as well, and it turned out pretty good. The sleeves end up being a bell sleeve. If you notice in the pictures that I have posted, the sleeves are bell sleeves, yeah. So if you don't want bell sleeves, do not. I remember I picked up 14 stitches from the underarm. I cast it on, I added up 14 stitches. Don't add up, add 5. The other cardigan that I am knitting, I will show that on my next tutorials. I just only added 5. So just measure, wear it, and measure it on you while you go. And I ended up using all the gray yarn. I ended up using all the variegated yarn. I only, unfortunately for the one ball, I only end up using 3 dandelions. And I finished it with the gray yarn because I didn't have enough. And this is all I have. And I started a blanket. And this is all I had left. Just a little tiny bit left, and I'm starting a blanket. I'm gonna use my leftover yarn on this, just using merino wool on this blanket if I succeed to finish it. So this is how it looks like. I didn't put buttons on. You can put a pin on it. And it became short, as you can see, and I'll show you the measurements. So if you measure it on top of the collar, it's about 26 inches long, which is, it's not a long cardigan. It's just over a Bolero. So usually Boleros are like 15 to 16 inches long. Sometimes 13, it depends on the size. And the chest, this is how you measure, just an inch down from underarm. And this is about 30 inch flat. And if you count the others, so 60 inch, I'm sure this would fit perfectly for 2 extra large, 3 extra large, 4 extra large, even 5. Depends on how they want it. Yeah, and the sleeves, I finished it with the Picot as I did the edging on the cardigan. And for the shawl collar that I have knit, I picked up the stitches and I just used a knit stitch on back and forth, or purl stitch, whichever you wish. Because I wanted to do this stitch, remember the wave stitch that we did? But I noticed that because when we skip one, we don't knit, that becomes a loose, if you can see. It looks nice on the body, but I thought it wouldn't be nice on the collar because I was kind of hesitate. So instead of doing that, I just did just knitted this purl stitch from back and gave this, and I did the Picot ending, and this is how it turned out. I hope you like this tutorial. And again, this is on for sale at my Etsy shop, ufair.etsy.com, and Ufair is U, my husband's initial, and FER are my initial, Frida, FER.etsy.com. You can find it there. I have put it on for sale. And if you have any questions, comments, please comment below and I will try to reply. And thank you very much for watching, and happy knitting!